Hey guys, welcome to Pellets and Pits. Today is all about a charcoal versus pellet grill. The idea behind it is Baltimore Pit Beef. Which one tastes better? If you guys want to see how we make it, here we go. All right, to get started, let's talk about the pit beef just in general, how we're going to do it. And along the way, we're going to try to pay homage to the original. Now, I'm not doing the copycat recipe. We're going to change it up a little bit. I think we might be able to impart a little bit more flavor, and I think that's what it's all about. We have a simple rub here we're going to get to in a second, but first and foremost, when you think about pit beef, you think about the beef. The cool thing about this video today is basically the cross between a charcoal grill and a pellet grill. I know a lot of our community, since it's called Pellets and Pits, pits is kind of an unused word in Pellets and Pits because I'm able to cook on other things. But for the majority of people, they have pellet smokers. So I thought that when you see a video like this or somebody comments, hey, what about Baltimore Pit Beef? My first reaction was, well, on a pellet smoker, you really can't do that. I have the luxury of having a charcoal grill, so that's why I'm going to bring it out today. But ultimately, the pit beef, if you have a pellet smoker, can you do it? I think we're having fun today, right? Like I said, it's not authentic, but I think what we're going to be able to do is showcase multiple cooking styles and have a fantastic product. What we're going to do today is actually cut the beef in half, because they're going to cut it in half anyways. One's going to be charcoal, one's going to be pellet. I'm going to show you guys a really fantastic way to cook this on a pellet smoker and hopefully still be able to get that same char that you would with charcoal. To the rub really quick, we have our Shake That, which is basically this right here. This is a salt, pepper, garlic, and butter. And it depends on how you season it. It seems like some people seasoned the beef, some people didn't. I'm going to season the beef. I think it's flavor. We have chili powder, thyme, onion powder, mustard powder, and smoked paprika. To that, we're just going to mix all this together and create a simple rub. One thing I noticed while I was doing my research, I would consider it a cardinal sin, but obviously they're extremely successful at doing it. They actually cut the fat cap off during the cooking process, which, if you guys know me, fat is flavor. I just could not imagine cutting fat off, but we might do that. I don't know. That's one thing that I haven't decided to do yet. We'll see. So there's a good seasoning right there. I'm not sure how they trim their meat, if they trim it at all, but see how scraggly this stuff is and how thin this is? I think it's just naturally fair just to go and give this a fair trim. This is gonna be burnt up anyways. All right, we got some of the trimming done. Basically pulled some of that silver skin off the back part of it, the bottom part. I'm just looking at it. Typically on the whole pit beef, so we're gonna cook the whole thing, and then eventually about an hour later, they're gonna cut it in thirds. Since we have two different grills, let's go in half. I am gonna say that probably the charcoal grill is gonna get the wider piece, because I think it's going to be able to stand up on its side, whereas I think the pellet smoker would benefit the smaller piece because it's more uniform, okay? I'm just hedging my bet. I don't know if it's right or wrong. We're just going for it. So maybe about right through there. Okay. So charcoal grill, pellet smoker. And to that, all we're going to do is season it and then let it rest while we get all of our grills up to temp. Probably season it light on the fat side since it's coming off anyways. All right, for the Weber setup, I've got the Rockwood lump charcoal in there. We have some left over from last time, so let's use a fire starter. Let that go. Moving on over here, we're going to use a Pit Boss Navigator today for one special reason. Because the burn pot is right in the middle, okay? I'm going to try to keep the flame lever closed, but we all know on a pellet smoker that the hottest spot is right above the hot box. Doing that is going to hopefully create that crust that we need. If not, we can always open the lever at the end and get that flame kissed, okay? We're going to take this out. One thing of caution, since we're going to be running high temps for a long period of time, it's crucial and very important for the people that have pellet smokers to make sure that your pellet smoker is clean before you start. Anytime you reach that 350 to 400 degrees on a consistent basis, you can always start a grease fire. We've seen it many times now on the internet. So just make sure everything's cleaned off and almost like you're starting fresh. I've got B&B pellets in there, but I'm going to put a little bit more because I know running that high temp, we're going to go through quite a bit. All right, So I am going to set up a 2-zone system. Although it seems like it's always cooked directly over the coals, you have no idea how much space is between the coals and the flame. Since it's my first time doing it, it's kind of giving it like a safeguard. You have your hot side here, and you can always rotate your grate over, even on a standard Weber kettle, to be able to get that heat off of there. So if you notice the charcoal is only on one side, that allows you to get off the heat just a little bit. Pit Boss is hovering around 400. Heck, you can already see right here that my grates are whiter than the rest, because I'm telling you, that's the hot spot. So that's kind of like the idea we're going for. So we are going to shut the lid, but we are going to flip it often. And just keep it flipping it back and forth. I know this is completely unfair, but just hold your horses. Since I have to close the lid on this one, I'm probably going to close on the lid on this one, but I am going to keep all my air vents open. All right, it didn't take 5 minutes for me to quickly realize I might have to start adjusting my method. The point is, when the lid was down, obviously you lose that intense oxygen. Your coals don't necessarily die down, but you don't have that flame-kissed beef. But, in fairness, you're never going to have flame-kissed beef if you do it on the pellet smoker. So, should we be opening the lever some to kind of create the same ambiance as that? Then all of a sudden you run into the fact of, what if your pellet smoker doesn't have the flame lever? I don't know all the answers. I guess from the point here on is whether the lid's closed or open, whether the flame lever is on or off. I think our ultimate goal, I think you can say, is probably just make the best beef we can make, right?
Yep.
And not worry about all the little nuances. So that's what we're going to do. We have some of that fat that we saved. They say if you throw it on the grill, it creates flare-ups. So we've probably been on this like 5 to 7 minutes. Now let's see what happens. Once you take this Weber Summit, it's got the option to take the 4 holes like a standard Weber kettle, but you can raise this up. I'm telling you, you can really feel the heat pumping through there, and it might keep our coals lit. So we'll go and flip this one, see what we got, what kind of color we got. That's pretty similar to what we had on the charcoal. So since that's the fat side down, I think you probably need to be a little bit more careful with your flamethrower, because that fat drips down. We don't want a grease fire. So
that's why you close the thing.
Yeah, I mean, I might open it just for a few seconds, but I won't leave it. Like if we just do it now, the flame's open, but I won't leave it like that. Yeah, I see our coal still lit down there. That's perfect. So maybe closing the lid with that open might be the benefit. Right away, you notice the fat cap down. You see how it's catching fire on the bottom? So you might not be able to keep it on the fat side down as much. They trim that off anyway, so. Look at that right there. That's awesome. That's very, very, very little flamethrower. Woo! Look at that. Now that's pretty interesting. That's not too bad. It sucks the fact that this thing right here, maybe we can get in there like that. We'll put it in there just like that. So maybe that's an idea when you carve it to measure down, and you can measure over your beef and then just leave like an inch gap or something. But we're going to work with what we got. But that's really nice right there. All right, this is exactly what I was talking about. I didn't want to shy away from showing you this. I just wanted to show you how to prepare for it. So right now we got a grease fire because it's on the fat side. But you notice the flame broiler's not open. So I'm just gonna allow that grease to cool down. I'm actually gonna go ahead and pull this, close the lid. Because now we can start cutting off that fat cap. and then put it back on there. It almost feels like it's sacrilege to cut away the fat.
I know.
But that's how they do it.
Are we gonna eat that?
Are we? No, it's probably charred too much. Probably why they do it. All right, if you're looking for time frames, we're roughly 30 minutes in this project.
Since we put the things on the grill.
Yep. I tasted the fat off camera. Definitely something you don't want to be eating. The char, just too much. All right, so they do not re-season and put it back on the grill. So that's what we're gonna do. We're not gonna re-season it. Let me check that fire, see if it's burned out yet. See? Don't panic. Just don't do anything crazy. These are roughly about 60 to 70 degrees right now, give or take. Right back on there, no flame. While our beef is cooking, I have some thinly sliced onions. The tiger sauce seemed like it rained 1,000 different ways, right? Like you could just use prepared horseradish. You can make your own tiger sauce, everything from lemon juice to Worcestershire sauce to mustard to dry mustard to salt, pepper, you name it. So we're just gonna keep it basic. We've done probably 30 different horseradish sauces by now between both channels combined. So we kept it simple. 2 tablespoons of sour cream, 1/3 cup of mayonnaise, 1/3 cup of horseradish. I think one thing that stood out more than anything was how strong they recommend the horseradish to be. So we're just gonna keep it simple.
And we are using prepared horseradish.
Yeah. I like to throw the sour cream in there. I'm not against the mayonnaise. I just think it adds a little depth of creaminess that the mayonnaise doesn't. It takes the tartness off that mayonnaise from the vinegar. I like it. So just play around with this. Obviously, you're the one eating it. And you can dress this up as much as you want to. All right, we're looking about an hour, but I got to tell you, the hour is solely based on the amount of charcoal, how many times you open the lid, you keep it on the flames the whole time, so don't hold me to an hour. It's more important for about internal temperatures. I'm reading about 110 degrees on the sweet spot. Take that off. And then we're actually a little bit lower on here. We're reaching about 80 degrees on this one right here. But that's fine to me. 80 degrees will be that rare, like the blue rare, but it's gonna be fine. We're gonna let it rest, carry over cooking. Probably let it rest for about 20 minutes. Alrighty, 20 minutes is gone. Ooh, yeah. So just to recap, about 110 degrees, and this was about 80, 90 degrees. So this is gonna be extremely rare. That's fine with us. Remember, you can put this back on the pit, so don't be alarmed. I'll probably have to cut these down in sizes. You can absolutely cut this by hand. Just make sure that you're cutting against the grain. You can see right here, the grain's running this way, and then it switches, then it's running this way. So just keep that in mind. But for a meat slicer here, I'm gonna cut it right here. There's more of your medium rare right there. Okay. And then this is gonna be more of a rare, which is something that I wanted. I'm gonna have to cut this flat. Even though the grain runs like this, I need to cut it flat for my slicer. And there you go. There's that rare right there.
Oh, that looks good.
So, to keep them separated, the medium rare was a charcoal, and this was the pellet smoker, okay? So, we're gonna go super thin. This right here is the pellet smoker.
So, and actually when they make these, they cut off some and then put it back on the grill.
You mean like this right here, or like that? Both ways. If this isn't done enough to speed up the process, they'll put it back on the grill or cook it longer for the customers, or they'll shave it like this. And if this isn't cooked enough, they'll put it back on the grill.
So this is the charcoal grill.
Yep. That's about enough for one sandwich right there, don't you think? All right. So the next thing is, what I'm gonna do is keep the slicer on here. I think we should do a taste test.
Yep.
Basically just taste it just the way it is. And the pellet grill, which is more my liking. Just on the cooking aspect of it. So it's all about flavor.
Because it's
not
rare.
about temperature. Exactly.
Do we need to try them on a sandwich?
We're definitely going
to determine?
This is my honest opinion. I do think the charcoal wins for one reason. The outside seems like it's a little bit barkier, it's a little bit crisper. And it's actually a textural difference in your mouth. The pellet smoker has a woodsy style smoke to it. I'm sure that's because you're using all pellets, but it's uniquely different. This has more like a char, more like a burn, more like a crisp. And the pellet smoker, you don't get that, oddly enough, that deep crunch inside the meat. It's more subtle. I do think once you add the tiger sauce or horseradish or onion and bun, if you had two sandwiches side by side, I think it would be extremely hard to tell. We're just tasting pure meat side by side. This tastes more smoked.
Yes. That one does taste more like char.
Yeah.
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 They're both good. They're very, very similar. So can you make pit beef on a pellet grill? Absolutely.
Oh yeah. You buy it, you might as well use it for all the bang for the buck. And this is one example. I'm sure if we used the Traeger and we jumped it up there to 400, 425, you're still gonna get that same concept. I do want to caution though, this is one of those cooks, whether it be on the Weber or on the kettle, Weber kettle, or on any kind of cooking equipment. It's not one that you just walk away from. You need to be cautious about what's going on, especially when you're open flaming or charcoal, whatever. That fat can catch in a hurry. All right, what we're here for. I am going to quickly, I don't care if they do it or not, toast my buns. So I left the pellet smoker on just in case we had to cook that meat more, but honestly, it's cooked enough for us. I am going to warm it up. Keeping that au jus. Just warm that beef up a little bit. Well, that goes there, actually. Does not take long at all. So here we go. A little tiger sauce on top. That charcoal grilled. It doesn't take long on the grill either when it's trimmed thin like that to warm back up. Little sliced onion. All right, guys, there you go. There's simple and easy, just about as easy as you can make beef. I'm on board with this idea for sure. Remember, when you're using smaller cuts of meat, your times will vary, stuff like that. You know, if we start off with a roast this size, which is probably more ideal for a family, but you still can get that same fantastic flavor. Jeez.
Golly.
This is the pellet grilled one right here. Oh my gosh. This is the charcoal grilled one. I can't taste the difference. Not once you add this. I didn't think you would be able to.
No, they're both fantastic, to be honest.
The beef is so tender. One point of note, this was like $4.89. It was on sale. That's why we bought the whole
pound,
one.
yeah.
You know, roast beef at the grocery store, we looked the other day, it was like over 15 bucks. I know this is a lot of meat, but most butchers can cut that down for you and you can get like half or third or whatever. So doing something like this and just getting out and just trying the two different ones, see if it really makes a difference. I didn't want to do a copycat route because honestly, I didn't feel like it was fair to them because I don't think they want their information shared because I don't think you can find it out there. So what's the next best thing? You know, you got a pellet smoker, you got a charcoal grill. Does it really matter? If you're watching the video and you're like, well, I don't have lump charcoal, so I can't make it. I think we proved today that's not true. You just got to use what you got, you know, and make what you like, and that's what we did. The tiger sauce might have been a little bit different. The seasonings might have been a little bit different, but ultimately, when you take that first bite, you know it right away. Like it's fantastic, juicy, tender, smoky, barky, and that's
super good.
Everything we like. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to press that subscribe button, pound the notification button, share it with your friends. Peace.
Okay. Yeah.
I am surprised that the charcoal didn't stick out as much as the pellet, although they're both considered wood.
I know. I am surprised too. You really can't tell the difference when they're on sandwiches.